Ah yes, the trackpad. That smooth, mysterious rectangle where your finger does its best impression of a confused magician. Before it, we had mice. Big, clunky, dust-hoarding, cable-tangling mice. Half of the 1990s IT budget went to cleaning gunk out of those things. But humanity wanted more. We wanted freedom, precision, and the ability to control an entire digital universe without moving more than 3 inches. And thus, a hero emerged, the trackpad. Today, it's everywhere. Laptops, tablets, even your phone's fake home button. But its finger-powered wizardry has a surprisingly dramatic origin, full of forgotten inventors, near failures, and ideas so weird you'd think someone lost the bet. So let's glide into history and left-click our way into the origins of the trackpad. Our tale begins in the late 1980s. Walkmans ruled, dial-up screeched, and shoulder pads could probably qualify as flotation devices. Enter George E. Gurfeed, engineer at the University of Wisconsin. In 1988, he built something called the Glide Point, one of the first touch-sensitive pointing devices. Yes, the man who invented the thing your cat now walks across daily. It used capacitive sensing, meaning it detected changes in the electrical charge caused by your finger. Your body basically acts like a tiny battery, and the pad senses your touch. Basically, it's a polite electrical handshake between you and your computer. Now, if only today's iterations could sense when you're about to hit reply all. Gurfeed pitched it to IBM, HP, and Apple. They all said, "Cool idea, George, but we've got the mouse." Turns out, being ahead of your time is great until everyone ignores you for a whole decade. Fast forward to the early 1990s, laptops were finally becoming portable-ish. They were heavy, loud, and their batteries lasted about as long as a bad day. But hey, you could fold them shut and call it mobile computing. Back then, laptop pointing devices were an adventure. You had trackballs, those little rubber marbles that collected lint like trophies. And you also had the trackpoint, that tiny red joystick, also known as the keyboard nipple. And yes, it looked as weird as it sounds. But engineers loved the idea. No external mouse, no extra desk space, but in practice, those little nubs wear out your fingers faster than trying to beat Street Fighter on arcade difficulty. Meanwhile, in Utah, George Gurfeed still believed in his Glide Point dream. After years of rejection from big tech, he founded Cirque Corporation in 1991 to keep developing his trackpad. Cirque's pads were clever, compact, and cheap to make. They sold as external accessories for desktops and early laptops, and they were perfect for travelers who were tired of cleaning sticky trackballs. And finally, someone noticed. In 1994, Apple came calling. They wanted something fresh and something futuristic for their next big innovation, the PowerBook 500 series. They licensed the design from Cirque and teamed up with another touch sensing startup called Synaptics, founded by Carver Mead and Federico Fagan. Yes, that Federico Fagan, the man who co-invented the Intel 4004 microprocessor. He helped computers think, and now he was helping them feel. The PowerBook 500 launched in 1994 with a built-in trackpad, and just like that, the mouse was on notice. No moving parts, no rolling ball, no red nub fighting for your attention, just a sleek, flat rectangle that worked like magic. Reviewers at the time called it alien and too futuristic to be real, but once users got their fingers on it, they were hooked. Within 2 years, nearly every major laptop maker was switching from trackballs and nipples to trackpads. And while Lenovo diehards still swear by the red dot to this day, the writing was on the wall. Or rather, on the palm rest. As for George Gurfeed, he didn't become a household name or a billionaire, but Cirque's technology lived on, licensed to dozens of companies, eventually acquired by Alps Electric, a major supplier for Sony and Toshiba. The man who was told no by every tech giant ended up changing how we all interact with our computers, one fingertip at a time. So, next time you glide across your laptop like it's a magic carpet, remember George, the quiet inventor from Utah who proved that sometimes the future really is at your fingertips. By the late 90s, trackpads were everywhere. Toshiba, Compaq, IBM, Dell, you name it. They were small and about as responsive as wet cardboard. Scroll zones appeared, double tap replaced the click, and accidental palm touches ruined essays faster than Windows 95 could crash. We've all been there, highlighting your entire paper because your thumb got curious. Early trackpads were not multi-touch and felt like rubbing a potato. But slowly, they got better, and by the mid-2000s, the trackpad was evolving from barely tolerable to actually kinda cool. Then came 2008. Apple unveiled the glass multi-touch trackpad on the MacBook Pro, and the world's fingers would never be the same. 2-finger scroll, 3-finger swipe, 4-finger desktop shuffle, and 5 fingers? Congratulations, you summoned Steve Jobs' ghost. It was sleek, responsive, and strangely, quite satisfying. Suddenly, every gesture felt like choreography. Your fingers didn't just control the computer, they performed on it. Meanwhile, Synaptics kept improving the PC side, adding palm rejection, precision sensing, and even pressure-based clicks. For the first time, Windows users could touch their laptops and not immediately regret it. Okay, nerd mode activated. How does this thing actually work? A trackpad is a grid of tiny electrodes that form an invisible electric field. When your finger touches it, that field changes. The chip inside measures those changes thousands of times per second and calculates your finger's exact position. Add math, firmware, and a dash of AI, and you've got cursor ballet. Modern trackpads even learn your habits. They adapt to your speed, your gestures, even your posture. Basically, it's a flat psychic that sometimes judges you. In 2015, Apple dropped the Force Touch trackpad, and it didn't click, like at all. Instead, it pretended to. Beneath the surface were Taptic engines. They were tiny electromagnetic actuators that vibrated just right, tricking your brain into believing that you felt a real click every single time. In a way, it's basically the deepfake of laptop hardware. And then Microsoft answered with precision touchpads, finally ending years of lag, stutter, and rage clicking. And now, gestures ruled. Pinch to zoom, rotate to adjust, 3-finger drag, and the sacred full hand frustration slam. That does nothing, but it feels amazing. And the tech did not stop at laptops. From car dashboards, to game controllers, to airplane cockpits. Pilots literally swipe through navigation data, and gamers use them as tiny thumb arenas. Somewhere, George Gerfield is smiling, and probably still waiting for his royalty check. So next time you're scrolling through cat videos or doom scrolling through work emails, remember, you're using decades of engineering, physics, and beautifully refined laziness. The trackpad didn't completely replace the mouse, but it did redefine how we touch technology. It made computers faster, cleaner, and a little more human. And all it took was one man's dream to move a cursor without moving his arm. Now that's innovation, powered by pure sloth. This is Cash Digest, where we slide through the history of tech, one glorious finger smudge at a time.